Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back with another amazing broadcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Alice Nelson. How's it going today?
Doing so good. How about you?
Doing really well. It's summertime, so there's really very few bad days right now during the summertime. So,
It's just really, really hot here. So
oh yeah, oh yeah. Luckily, right now we're not nearly as humid as you are down on the coast, but it's still. I agree. It's still very hot. So, but excited to have you here. Excited to sit down and get to chat with you a little bit and get to know you a little bit more. So you're based out of Southern Alabama, born and raised. What was it like growing up there?
yeah, I live on a farm. So it was basically, we don't have many people around us. My closest neighbor is about a mile. And it was kind of just I'm an only child, so it's just me, my mom and dad out here and I went to school for a little while, but my public school was very, very small, and then I started doing homeschool. So it was always just kind of a small environment. There's not many people, but the people that are here, everybody knows everybody.
For sure, for sure. That's really cool. And then was your like how does music kind of start to come into play? Was that something you discovered on your own or was your family musical?
So actually, none of my family did anything music related really. That's kind of just something I came into. My dad actually did barbecue competitions. He competed in different ones,
Nice.
and they would ask for entertainment and stuff like that, and I got into it that way. And I would play at some of the festivals that he would cook at, and it kind of just began from then on.
Cool. And so did you kind of always know you could sing then, or was it just something like, oh, I can do that, and you kind of figured it out from there?
Well, I've been singing since I was 3 and like professionally since I was like 7.
Hmm.
And I've just loved to do it. I've never been like, oh, I can sing or anything like that. It's kind of just been like, I just love to do it. It's what I
Mm.
want to do. And ever since then, I've just been pursuing it. I picked up a guitar when I was around 15, started learning how to play that. And ever since then, I've been playing live shows.
Nice. And so during those early days, was it kind of like you were just doing covers, or were you like actually writing at that point too?
So during like younger age, I was just doing covers. When I became around like 9, 10 years old, I started like messing into songwriting, trying to write. I'm 10. You get what you get. But
Nice.
I have some things that I had written when I was 10, 11 years old. And those songs, I found those books and I had edited and redone and rewrote, and they're songs that are actually going to be on the music that we're working on now. So it's
Nice.
actually very exciting to find things like that.
Nice. Now, so kind of looking into that, how much did you have to go in and kind of rework some of that earlier stuff, or is it pretty much like accurate to what how you wrote it originally?
Well, there's still the same concept to it. There's still the same ideas, but I'll have to be honest. The chorus, I don't know how I done it, but the chorus is pretty good in some of these songs. But the verses had to be totally reconstructed.
Okay. And was that just I'm kind of guessing that was just kind of the lack of your experience and just
Yeah.
kind of not knowing proper etiquette when it comes to writing. Is that kind of fair to say?
It is exactly. I was not very good. I still am not very good with the whole English language. I do not speak well. I will
Me
go ahead
neither.
and say that my
Hmm.
grammar is all over the place, but I have learned a little bit more since I was like, younger. So I've put it to use.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I don't know how I have a podcast, but somehow I do. I did a podcast. I did an interview with one of my friends about a week ago, and she had just released a song called "Staring at the Moon." Except for whatever reason, I was calling it "Starring at the Moon." Just because I was like looking at the cover and there was just like stars all over the place. I was like, "Oh, starring at the moon. That makes sense." And then they're like, "No, it's staring at the moon." It's like, yep, that's why it took me 4 years to pass English. I'm sorry. So, I know where you're at. I feel your pain on that one. It hurts just a little bit. Um, so growing up in Alabama, um, when you were playing as a young kid, um, you mentioned that you went to school for a little bit and then you kind of started becoming homeschooled. Was music kind of like that thing that helped you connect with other kids while you were being homeschooled?
Honestly, even when being homeschooled, I kind of never really connected with people my age. I've always been connecting with people a lot older than me or a lot younger than me for some reason, but my age group was never the people I connected with. I'm not really for sure why, but it's always just been that way. The people that I have connected with that is my age, the very few people have been through music or similar interests.
Gotcha. 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 And so are they still people that you work with to today? Or yeah.
Yes and no. I have a couple friends that I've like met through music and stuff and I still talk to, but now it's kind of like all my like life kind of surrounds is through the music or through like side jobs and stuff like that that I do. So it's kind of like those people are like who I'm hanging out with and who are my friends now.
Yeah. I got you. I got you. I feel that. And so kind of when did you kind of decide to make that transition from, you're obviously doing help or doing the competition or singing at the competitions that your dad was competing in for the barbecue. When did you kind of start to make the transition to wanting to record your own music?
Yeah, so ever since I was really young, I've always really wanted to record since I first stepped on a big stage when I
Mhm.
was 7. I was at Tallahassee, Florida, I
Nice.
believe, and I stepped on that big stage and sung "The Climb" by Miley Cyrus.
Hmm.
And from that point forward, I was like, I want to make music. I want to record it. I want to do my own thing. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I think I was around the age of 8 or 9, and we went to a local studio, and they let me record a couple cover songs. And I recorded then, and I was like, I want original music out. I want to do this. I want to do that. And when I got to the age of like 14, I went and recorded some stuff in a Nashville studio, which is not none of that is out anywhere. No one can
Mm.
actually hear it. Because didn't never I took it all down like 2 years ago. But all the original stuff we went to the studio when I was 16 to start recording original, and then that's been building up ever since. And it's kind of just been like, I love the thrill of the music. I love the feels of everything, of like how it goes from percussion, so on. Um, I love listening to see how the band brings everything to what my image of the song is to life.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So that I had the question right at the tip of my tongue, and I was just like, ask it, but then it just went right away. So when you kind of started recording in Nashville, is that where you record like now full time? Is only
Yes.
in Nashville?
Yes, sir.
And who do you work with in Nashville?
So I was with Omni, and unfortunately, Omni has now been tore down and
Mhm.
it's been closed down. That was like one of my favorite places to record. Now we're kind of in the middle of trying to figure out who we're going to work with now. So it's kind of still in the mid-air. We're working with some like people in the area that are good friends of mine,
Mhm.
but it's kind of like figuring out what we're gonna do because Omni was like my home base.
Yeah, I gotcha. Have you ever given thought of going up to like Muscle Shoals? I mean, that's probably not much of a closer trip, but it's.
It's a little closer actually. I did think about that and I actually wanted to for this next album that's supposed to be coming out pretty soon, but then I was like, the Muscle Shoals like versus Nashville. Everyone's like, "Oh, you want that Nashville recording?" Because then you have the title of Nashville recording artist,
Hmm.
and then it also gets a little bit more say publicity for it. So we decided to go back towards Nashville. But I eventually want to record Emotional just because it's just a different sound. It's a
Hmm.
different kind of feeling to it.
Yeah.
But I do think that the songs we have coming out soon are probably going to be better for a Nashville style.
Nice, nice. So you brought it up a couple of times, and we'll just kind of transition into it. What are you are you working on a full project right now, or what are you kind of working on right now?
So I am working on a full project. I'm trying to have anywhere from 6 to 10 songs.
Nice.
It's really kind of just figuring out what's gonna be on it, because there's multiple songs that I have that are ready to be like fixed and released, but it's kind of like you can only put so many on there. And I want
Mm.
this like first true album to be out to show like, hey, here's who Alice Nelson is. You've heard these songs as singles. Now here's like a whole like EP album, whatever you want to call it. Like we have all these songs here for you to listen to, and you get to hear a story behind it all. So I'm trying to figure out like where we're gonna go from what song to what song, because there's so many that I want to release, and like I said, you can't release them all at once.
Yeah.
But
I mean, as much as the industry wants to try and force you to do it right now, you really can't. So
yeah,
it's like, yeah,
especially I mean, like right now, like if you release everything at once, you have to worry about, okay, well, will one pick up? Will it be too much
mhm.
mainstream? And then like, are you going to get radio play? And what's going to be happening with the streams? It's just a lot to get into it and think about.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So looking at the full album, are you are you already kind of mapping out like once you kind of get everything set in stone and ready to go, are you already kind of mapping out like singles, or do you kind of see yourself just like throwing the entire project out there?
So there is one song that will be a single. Like I've already 100% decided what that song's going to be. And it will come out about probably a month before the album drops. And
Gotcha.
then when the album drops, I'm probably going to release the music video to that single at the same time.
Nice.
And hopefully that should all be like ready by the first of next year, January, February. We're hoping to release it. We've been saying that we're going to release it. We've been like, for the last 2 years, we're like, oh yeah, we're going to release it this, then we'll release it next. And it never has been released, but we're like trying to put our foot down and be like, look,
Yeah.
we want to get this released this coming up year. Like it has
Yeah.
to be released.
Nice. Be just in time for CRS. In
Yes,
so
yes.
we will be there. CRS is a really cool time.
Oh
Did you
yeah.
go? Did you go this past year? Or
I did not go this past year. I actually was up for a couple awards at the North American Awards
oh well,
beginning of March. So I wasn't going to be able to have enough time to figure out how to do all the national stuff and then go to Pigeon Forge for that. There was
yeah.
a lot of scheduling conflict, but this year I plan to be at can't talk.
CRS.
CRS.
CR,
Can't talk.
CR,
See, there you go.
yeah. CRS CMA Fest. You know, it all rhymes and it's all very similar. It's like I'm gonna call it CRS Fest one of these years, and it's just gonna be
CRS.
like so. It's gonna be fun. But no, that'll be really cool. And like, I love the fact that you kind of see the maybe not see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you know where the light's going to come into play. And it's like, okay, these are our goals, these are our deadlines. Now let's hit them. What's kind of running through your mind now that you're kind of like really active in this process of writing, recording, promoting? Like, what's kind of running through your mind right now?
So honestly, it's just a lot of, to be honest, it's a lot of stress because I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, where we're gonna go next, how we're gonna get it out. And I don't want to release something that to me is not done.
Mhm.
Like, there's a lot of like artists that will release music, and just me being the artist myself, I'm like, what could have been better for this? Like, what could have been like different? And so I'm very nitpick at everything, every single thing I do. I pick at it and I'm like, no, this needs to be changed or this needs to be added. So I want to make sure that that all gets done before it's released. It has to be perfect plus more perfect.
Nice, nice. Um, and so it's been my reading this correctly that it's been a little bit since you released the music officially.
It has. It really has. So the last song I released was in the end of 2022, I think it was.
Hmm.
That was It's You Not Me. Um,
And then
that
you also released a music video for that as well, like last year,
yes,
correct?
the video was released last year.
Nice.
Um, and because we were like, oh yeah, I want to do something different for
Yeah.
this. So, and that's actually like for the last couple like little bit year here, that music video because it was released, the song got a lot more popular as well,
Yeah.
and it's been up for a different amount of awards. Like there's a couple of awards that's up for now that I'm really excited about as well.
Nice, nice, nice. And And that's like the cool thing about music videos is, so there's a lot of people that think, oh, I missed my opportunity to put the music video out for a song. And it's like, no, not really, because you could put the music video out and it brings brand new life to the song, like especially if it's
Exactly.
been a little bit. So,
That's why I was like, I told my management team, I was like, yeah, no, I want to release the song and then I want to wait a while to release the video just because, just, make people wait.
mhm.
And it's all about a waiting game. I love it.
Right, right.
But we around the time we also like I was recording the video, my guitarist and my drummer that was in the video unfortunately passed away right before it came out.
Oh, wow.
So we finished recording um with my drummer's son who plays the boyfriend in the
Hmm.
video. And then we released it about um 3 months after they had passed away.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of like a in memory kind of thing. If you watch the video at the end, it says in
Hmm.
loving memory of Adam and Dave. And so it's got a lot of meaning, just not even just the music video itself, but it has a lot of like heartfelt meaning as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad that you had the chance to kind of do an homage or a memoriam
Yeah,
to your bandmates there. It's like it just makes it that much more special.
absolutely.
Um, so kind of looking forward, obviously, you're gonna have a really busy rest of 2024 with the upcoming album and all that fun stuff. When you do kind of get 5 minutes to relax, what do you like to do? What do you like to get into?
Honestly, I'm always writing or either I'm doing email stuff, checking my
Right.
email, trying to work out stuff. If I ever have a minute to just like break off, I'm still listening to music and I'm probably doing diamond art because I love like doing the little diamond art stuff
Fair.
just for fun.
Fair. Does your dad still do barbecue competitions and stuff like that, or?
He doesn't do the competitions anymore, but he'll still do like barbecue and he'll cook and stuff like that. He sells it like on the side. If
Nice.
someone like asked in and is like, "Hey, will you cook us this?" and he'll be like, "Yeah." And he still has his barbecue trailers out there, the food truck and all that's out there. So I mean, you never know if he's gonna start again. But at the
Right.
moment, he's doing his own thing, trying to figure out other stuff.
Fair. 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 What's your favorite barbecue or like meat cut? I don't know. Yeah.
Definitely ribs. I love
Fair.
me some ribs.
Now, is it beef ribs or pork ribs?
Pork ribs.
Okay. Okay. I tried beef ribs. Like pork ribs is what first got me into barbecue. And then somebody's like, "Oh, you got to try beef ribs." And I'm like, "Okay." So I tried it and it just wasn't the same. Like yeah. It's like, I'm not that I'm not good, not that I won't eat them again, but it's just like, I'll stick with the pork ribs for right now. So that's funny. Um, and you'd mentioned earlier on that you've been to Tallahassee, like you visit Tallahassee. I'm guessing because your
Yes.
dad did a competition there.
Yes, he did. Um, that was like many years ago. I was 7 years old. I
Okay.
visited past then too, but I was 7 years old and he was doing a competition and I ended up they were like, "Oh, hey, is anyone want to come entertain us while we're waiting for the award ceremony?" And I was like, "Yeah, pick me." And I
Okay.
ran up there and then I got up on stage. That was the first big stage I was ever on.
Wow, that's really cool. I was sitting here, I was like, I didn't catch the 7 years old part in the initial story. And I was sitting here, I was like, we were, so I work for a TV station. That's my day job. And the station I was at, we sponsored like a barbecue competition in Tallahassee
Oh wow.
because like I mentioned, I'd lived there. And this was like 6, 7 years ago. And I'm like, wait, could we have crossed paths and not even known it?
We might have.
So like this would have been back in like 2017, 2018. So
Because I'm 20 now. So I don't know. I would have been like I don't know, 7 years ago. I'm not good at math. Um,
you'd probably been like 14, 15,
I would have
something
been
like
about, yeah, about 14. So maybe not. You never
no.
know though.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm just sitting here, I'm like running it through my head, and I'm like, it wouldn't be the first time that I've randomly crossed paths with somebody and didn't even know it. So, but
It's a small world.
right. So you're living in southern Alabama, but you go up to Nashville. You'd mentioned pretty consistently. How's that kind of? Do you enjoy traveling? Like, do you enjoy doing car rides and all that stuff? Or
I do, but I lately I've been just driving up and going by myself.
Mhm.
I do love it because I'm going to Nashville. I don't like coming back very much.
Fair.
Um, and I don't like it so expensive. It is very expensive. Um, but I mean, I enjoy going up there, and I enjoy the being at the place more than anything, the
Fair.
destination and everything. So
Fair. The trip up is always a lot more exciting, and then when it's like making the trip back, it's like, oh, this sucks.
yeah, I came back the other day and I was like, I don't want to go back. So
Right?
I literally just moseying on. I didn't make it back. I left Nashville around like I think like 10 a.m. It's a 7 hour drive back home, and I made it home around 4 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. It's I
What
did
boy?
that. Uh, so it's I think to Nashville, it's an 11-hour drive for me. Yeah, it's about an 11-hour drive because I got to drive. I live in Central Texas, so I got to come up to like 35 and 40 and all that stuff. Um, and I came back in July. I went to CMA Fest, so beginning of June, I was on my way back, and like the traffic was a nightmare, and it's just got so bad that I pulled over somewhere, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna take a nap because like this traffic is ridiculous. And I left at
Very
like
much so.
3 p.m. and I was supposed to get back at like 2 a.m. I didn't get back till almost 10 a.m. the next morning. Just, you know.
It's very chaotic. And then like with me, it was storming. Like it was
Mhm.
like raining cats and dogs outside, and I was like, I do not want to go home.
Right. I just stay in Nashville. If Nashville wasn't so dang expensive, you know.
Like literally, like I started thinking, I was like, I just need to like be like, hey, I need to set up a GoFundMe and be like, help me out here. It is
Well,
so expensive. I didn't realize how expensive it was. It's like over $1,000 plus like utilities and stuff just to like rent a room with
yeah,
somebody else. And
yeah,
I'm like, I don't want to rent a room because I'm like, I want to come and go as I please. I don't want to be like having to come in late at night and interrupt anybody else. And
yeah.
if I want to, I want to invite people over and like write music and play music at night. And so there's like this a lot of stuff going on, and I've got a little like camper trailer kind of thing,
Yeah.
and we're gonna try to like set that up in Nashville and be there at a trailer park and just go for it.
Nice. Now, when you do go to Nashville, are you going to like actually staying in the city, or are you going to like Brentwood or Franklin or somewhere outside the city?
I'm staying actually in Nashville, like
Mm.
on Music Valley.
Okay, gotcha.
I got some, and then I also sometimes I stay over in Lebanon. I've got some really good friends over there,
Mhm.
and I stay with them sometimes as well.
Nice. For me, it's one of those things where it's like I'll go ahead and I'll drive outside the city, just because it's going to save me that extra money. And most people are willing to, like, if I'm doing like setting up to do like podcasts or whatever, most people are willing to drive pretty much anywhere as long as
Yeah,
you're within 30, 40 minutes. It's really not that big of a deal.
most
Um,
everything's like 30, 40 minutes away anyway, and I mean
yeah,
it's not a huge deal at all. Plus, I've learned the traffic now,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to, but I had to, and I survived. So that's a
Okay.
blessing.
Yep. Oh, that traffic in Nashville scares me.
It is
I,
scary.
it's like there was I was this last time I was up, I was trying to get back to my hotel and I was getting on the expressway or whatever, and there was four cars that didn't realize that the road was bending, and they rolled their car off the road and it went down a ditch. Like 4 cars and a semi almost went as well. Had that semi went, all 4 of the people in them cars would have been for sure dead
Yeah.
because that semi, you're not stopping a semi. So, and I'm
No,
just sitting there. Yeah.
my dad used to drive a semi truck, so I know all about that.
Yeah. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, did I just watch all this happen while I was trying to wait for my red light to turn green?
Very chaotic traffic. I thought it'd been fun to do some door dashes while I was not busy in Nashville. I was like, oh yeah, make a little extra cash. Um, Not the
Yeah.
greatest idea.
Mhm.
Because we went and I tried to deliver from CVS or Walgreens or whatever, and we went and there's like this figure eight, where it's like you're going on the interstate and it goes into a circle
Mhm.
and then it comes out and does a figure eight, and then they're like going over a bridge and then going around, and it just makes like this weird figure eight circle. And I'm like, haven't I just been here? I went over that thing like 5 times trying to figure out where to go. I keep missing my turn. I go back this way around in
Right.
that little circle, and I'm just like, where am I? And the
Who
GPS
knows?
is not helping.
Nope. Nope. Not at all. That GPS is about as good as nothing. Like it's just
It's
kind of like,
nothing.
yeah, there's no reason to have it. So,
I literally had to like figure out. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna figure out something. I start looking at road signs everywhere, and I'm like, well, if I end up in Canada or somewhere else, oh well.
fair. Fair. Oh, so looking at your music, how often are you playing shows right now? Are you playing pretty consistently or?
Yeah, so I'm playing like around. I haven't been, bad thing. I have to keep getting on track of it because I keep messing up and I don't do it because I'm so busy. I usually post all of my like shows and updates and stuff on my
Mhm.
Facebook events tab, which I have not been doing, and I got to get back at it. But I'll be having shows in Alabama, and I've been having a lot of shows in Nashville and just around surrounding areas and stuff like that as well. Florida, PCB. Um, and then a lot as well. Like this past time in Nashville, I was mainly doing like for the CMA membership and everything like
Mhm.
that. So there's a lot of times where I'm not playing shows, but I'm still doing something music related.
Nice. That's really cool. That's really cool. And how, so CMA membership, did you just get that or have you been a CMA member for a bit now?
That happened like I believe I got accepted in July. I got
Okay.
accepted in July. Um, and or no, yes, yes. I'm trying to think. There's so much. I got accepted at the beginning of July. We had our
Mhm.
first meeting July 18th,
Nice.
and we're in August now. So, my next meeting I believe is the 22nd. Don't quote me. Like I said, there's so much going on. My
Yeah.
calendar is like full, and I'm trying to
Fair.
figure out everything. But it's been about a month, so it's fresh, it's new, it's exciting. Um, the funniest way that I found out was I was sitting in a Waffle House, the best place to eat on earth, and I'm sitting there with my computer, and I'm just like going through my emails, and I start bawling out in tears, and the waiter comes over there and was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm great." And I started crying, and he's really good friends of mine, and everybody is over there. So they were like, "What happened?" I told them, and they were like, "Oh my god, congratulations!" And
Nice.
we had a whole party at the Waffle House, as it should be.
Nice. It Waffle House is really good. I enjoy it. I don't go nearly as much as I should, but also we don't have a whole lot of them here in Texas. So
We have them everywhere in Alabama.
we had them across the street in where I worked at in Florida. Like it was literally right across the street. And when Hurricane Michael came through in 2018, the night or after everything kind of cleared out, we went over to the Waffle House and was like, "Hey, you guys still got power? You guys got food?" And they were ready to make us food until they realized that their grill wasn't working or something.
I'm about to say Waffle House stays open during hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
They like never close.
Mm-hmm.
They're the power system of our universe.
Right, right. It feels like every time I go there, the menu is always different. At least it feels like that. So,
It does sometimes. Sometimes they change their menu up, but then there's like this original menu. I like to call it the secret menu,
mhm.
and it has everything and the prices and everything listed on it. Did you know that Waffle House used to have salads?
No, but that honestly doesn't surprise me.
They used to have salads, and I
That
I was like, oh, they did it one time, and then all of a sudden it disappeared, and I was like, I
mhm.
dreamt that, but no, I did not. I got confirmed they used to.
Nice. It see, I learned or a couple of years ago, my buddy taught me the trick about Waffle House. You could literally order whatever you want as long as it's like as long as like the base ingredients are on the menu, you can order whatever you want
Oh
and they'll
yeah.
make it for you. Like,
Some places will. It's according to how the staff is feeling that day.
yeah,
Like at my Waffle House that I go to, I like to make a waffle sandwich,
nice,
and like I just make it myself. I'll just be like, all right, I want an all star, and then I'll take the waffle, a blueberry waffle, and then I'll put everything in between it and eat it as a sandwich. It's great.
nice. Dang it! Now I'm hungry for waffles.
Like literally Waffle House.
Yep, yep. That's gonna be all right, Siri. No, I'm
That's
just,
the sponsorship. We gotta get that sponsorship.
hey, wasn't it? Who was it that worked at a waffle or what musician just recently worked at a Waffle House to get inspiration for her new project?
Lana Del Rey.
Yeah,
And
there
let
you
me
go.
just tell you something right now. I have no shame in my game when I say I'm gonna apply for a Waffle House. Okay, I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna work there for a couple weeks and just see how it feels. Like
Right,
that's I'm gonna do it too.
right. It's one of those. I saw that pop up, and I was just like, "That is great. That is amazing."
I loved it. I was like, I saw that. I was like, okay, not trying to copy that or not, but that's like a great idea. And then I told some people, I was like, hey, I'm gonna come work at that Waffle House, like just for a couple weeks. Like it'd be great for the money. It'd be great experience because I've never like had like a real job other
Mhm.
than music. So
Nice.
like I mean, and it's Waffle House. I
Right.
mean, who doesn't love Waffle House?
Fair.
I was informed I can't throw chairs at people if they're mean to me, and that was a little bummer. But
You know what though? I feel like Waffle House is one of those experiences where it's like it's not like your traditional job because it's so ingrained in whatever community it's in.
hated. I was like looking over like how to like call things and
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is not how like a normal restaurant would. Normal restaurant, you're writing down the like what they want and stuff
Mhm.
and like giving it to the kitchen and well no, the kitchen is like, oh well, if you want an egg, we're gonna put a jelly packet on something. And I'm just like, this is so complicated. Why are you have to be so complicated? But
Fair.
I mean, hey, it means you have some skill. So I
Right.
applaud the Waffle House workers.
Right. Right. Now, the next time I come through that way, because I've got a standing invite to come out to Muscle Shoals, I just gotta try and figure out when to pull that one off. I'm gonna have to try and not try. I'm gonna have to stop at Waffle House. It's been way too long since I've been. So,
Waffle House for the win. Should
but
definitely try that all star like blueberry waffle sandwich. Just like
nice. I'll check. I'll check it out for sure. You know, it's just one of those things. Anytime I get to that point where I'm hungry and I see a Waffle House, it's always in like the sketchiest part of the country, and it's just.
they're the best ones.
But when I'm by myself, it's like I really don't want to walk into this sketchy looking Waffle House by myself. Well, if I had my buddy with me or a couple of my buddies, yeah, let's go into the one where the W is the only thing lit up. Like, let's go do it. But when it's me by myself, nah, I'm good.
I get that. There's a couple in Nashville that scare me too. That like I was at one and I left because there was like a big fight going on and someone threatened somebody else with some weapons and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna go over here and get a patty melt somewhere else.
Fair, fair,
I
very
mean,
fair.
I think my life's a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I really appreciate your time. It's been an absolute blast chatting with you. If anybody wants to check out your music, the upcoming album, as you kind of get more information about it, or just interact with you on social, where's the best place to find you?
Yes, so you can find me on all social media platforms and music platforms at AliceNelsonMusic.com, which is like, I can't get out of the view, but it's just like this.
Yep.
AliceNelsonMusic.com or Alice Nelson Music, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all that cool stuff. And I try to post. I haven't been posting much lately because I've been so busy and stuff. But I try to post at least once a week and like updates and everything like that. And there's a lot going on. I was just recently like in a little TV show, so
Nice.
I'm gonna be posting about that pretty soon when it gets released. So it's a lot of exciting things happening. And I also nominations for the Josie Music Awards, which is coming up in
Yep.
October. And I think that's like 6 or 7. I think it's 6 or 7 award nominations for that, and that's
Nice.
held at the Grand Ole Opry. So I'm super excited about that.
Nice. I got to figure out how to get involved with the Josies. It's everybody's like, oh, why don't you like try and get your podcast on there? Because I've seen like they
Yes.
do like media stuff, and I'm like, if I knew how to do that, I'd do it, But I
Contact
think yeah.
about say
So,
just contact Josie, like Artina Marie, the
mhm.
ones that are over it. They're great people, very nice people. There should be an email like on their Facebook page and
Okay,
stuff like that. And
nice.
there's a bunch of different like interviewers, podcasters, all that during the red carpet at the Opry that it will interview people, and it's really cool. I think there was like 4 people last time doing
Oh,
that.
nice. Yeah,
So
nice. That's really cool. I will definitely have to check that out because
yeah,
I'm looking for my next, like, waiting until February for CRS seems like an eternity. I'm looking for my next reason to go to Nashville.
absolutely. Hey, there's something good happening in Nashville always. I mean,
Yep.
and December is a really big time in Nashville because December, it's the Christmas season and there's a
Hmm.
lot going on and a lot of different shows. And you could always just like, take your podcast out there and start interviewing
Yep.
artists. You
Oh,
never
yeah.
know.
Well, and that's the conversation I've had with a few because what I've done in the past is I'll go rent like a either an Airbnb. If the Airbnbs are affordable enough, I'll go just get an Airbnb and just bring people through.
Yeah.
But one thing I did last or a couple of years ago was I rented a studio, like a band practice facility.
Yeah.
Like they have like individual rooms or whatever. And I just did it in there. And it was like, wasn't too terribly expensive, but it kind of worked. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for like whatever you can find, making it work. I mean,
mhm.
everything's workable somehow.
Yeah, for sure. So it's I'm just trying to figure out that next step to st- come back out to Nashville before the end of the year because I like the idea of doing it about 3 times a year. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know, but other than that, I do really appreciate your time. If you want to hit them with your socials one more time.
Yes. Alice Nelson Music on all social media and streaming platforms. Come find
Awesome.
me. Follow me.
Awesome. Well, Alice, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you all later.
Thank you so much for having me. And thanks,
Yep.
everybody.